interested in hearing about your spiritual practice, your inner practice, how you bring that also out into the world in very mainstream circles and the business community, etc. And also, coupled with that, what inspires you most about the possibility of obtaining inner peace?
Meditation has been a big part of my life as a child, and you know, as a young child, I started meditating at a young age, and then I started reading the books, and, you know, studying the books obsessively as a teenager. Marianne's being one of them, and being really inspired, and you know, becoming a seeker, and really priding myself on seeking information outside, and going to poetry, and oh my God, just looking for information, and doing every therapy, seminars, you know, it's like, and that was all a part of my path, and an incredible part of my evolution. But at some point, it never ended. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where it's like, no matter how much you seek, and no matter how much you try and fix yourself, somehow the egoic nature of the ego, which is an illusion, just like, it kind of constantly wants to seek and seek and seek and seek and never really actually find anything, even though it convinces us that it's trying to sort of seek. And I had to look at myself and go, wow, you know, this personality that I am so intently trying to change and heal and change is itself not real. And this and that there is really no perfection to the personality. And in that there was a great freedom and a great spaciousness and a great peace that emerged for me in the recognition that it was kind of like a shadow, and that the issue wasn't really the issue. The real issue was my relationship with it. And as my relationship with all the things I'd identified as my pain, my story, my ego, my identity, who I am, as that shifted, there was some space. Meditation was really a powerful tool for me to drop beyond the mind on the level of the identification to a deeper level of my own being, and unhinge the identification to the ego. And in that, I found space. And in that space was a container that I experienced of awareness, of the ability to compassionately see the personality in all its flaws. And it's like, you know, it reminds me of a quote that one of my teachers used to say a lot. He'd look at me as I'd be like in my stuff, you know, trying to heal myself, because I read these books and it would be like the books say, you know, I had this notion of myself, of what being spiritual was, and this idealized notion of myself of, you know, what enlightenment was, and kind of having to drop that. He looked at me and he said, if you're trying to change yourself, you better hurry up and do it. Because when you're enlightened, you won't really care. And I kind of didn't understand what you mean. I've invested so much, and when the real essence of that hit me, it was almost as though to really be able to see through the illusion of this very thing I'm trying to shift, and have some space, and in that space be freed up to just bring the loving, and bring the compassion, and bring the kindness, and bring the tenderness to the personality. And in that space, without constantly, you know, digging at myself, in that space of love, certain patterns and certain issues and certain addictions and certain tendencies and insecurities held in that loving space just begun to gently, organically unravel itself. Really unravel without imposing a conditioning on myself. and seeing how so many of the spiritual practices were really an outside-in approach that I was doing that was imposing more conditioning, you know, 7 keys, 7 steps, and whatever it is, that I was imposing this conditioning on myself that was actually making me less peaceful because I was holding on to the stuff outside. So in that space, what I realized was just like when we cut our finger, there is an intelligence in the body, in the physiology, in the nervous system that knows how to heal itself if we create the space. You don't have to be spiritual, you don't have to be a good person, you don't even have to pray, you just hold the space and the intelligence knows what to do. And I found in that space of compassion, it gave some room for the intelligence of my being to work and facilitate an organic, natural unraveling of layers, so I could just rest into not someone else's expression of what free was, but just what that was for this unique mind-body mechanism. And meditation has been a real holding space for that.